Sage Wanderer here, and welcome to Coffee Talk. So, I'm going to start a new series called Coffee Talk, or Coffee Talk, to discuss conspiracy theories that I'm uncertain of, or I don't necessarily not believe them, but I also can't really prove them. And this one is a pretty hot topic right now. And it's concerning a 4chan poster by the name of anon. Now, if you just search for anon, you're going to find a plethora of individuals talking about a series of posts on 4chan in an anonymous chat room, essentially. And this individual claims to be a high-ranking government official with the highest security clearance level Q. And this person is reporting on a conspiracy, but he's doing it in the form of asking questions. So if you're knowledgeable about what's going on and all of the cloak and dagger issues that are occurring right now in what I consider to be a civil war, and right now it seems to be an information war, although it's heated up lately with especially with the events in Texas and Las Vegas. And so this individual, QAnon, he asks a series of questions, and if you answer the questions and you know the answers to them, it paints a pretty interesting conspiracy theory that would make a great novel. And so if this guy isn't for real, then he should write out this theory into a novel form and make himself a lot of money, because it's actually brilliant. So, I don't claim to be an expert on this conspiracy theory, and I encourage you to look this up yourself and go down the rabbit hole. But because it seems to all be coming to a head, we will soon find out whether QAnon is completely full of crap or not, because he's made some time-referenced indicators in his discussion that if they don't come true, then then this was all just a fantasy. But I thought I would hit the high points. Now, probably the thing that's going to let us know whether this is real or not has to do with the Podesta brothers. If you're not familiar who the Podesta brothers are, quick background on them. John Podesta was Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, and some consider him to be one of her very closest inner circle companions. Now, when the emails were released, the DNC and Hillary Clinton emails were released by WikiLeaks. In it was a lot of fishy stuff related to John Podesta, and David Seaman in particular, who is a YouTuber, and a myriad of other people have implied that John Podesta is a pedophile and that they've uncovered a pedophile ring. This is typically known as Pizzagate or Pedagate. And that his John's brother Tony, who was a lobbyist, a powerful lobbyist, was also involved in the spirit cooking pedogate, Pizzagate scandal, all based on a code that they're deciphering from emails. Now, I won't even discuss that, but I just wanted to put that out there because that's where John and Tony Podesta really come onto my radar. And the QAnon individual is laying out a conspiracy theory in the form of questions. So he's asking a lot of questions, and if you answer the questions, you get this narrative. So what this is really tied to from QAnon is the arrest of Paul Manafort. Now, when Mueller was placed as the special counsel, since then I've heard this opinion from the right flip. But when it first happened, everyone on the right said Mueller is of the highest integrity, that Mueller can be trusted with this important investigation. Now, since then, people have said Mueller's a stooge. Mueller was placed in there to railroad Donald Trump. And even Alex Jones has said that the arrest of Paul Manafort was to get Manafort to roll over on Donald Trump and implicate him in the Russia collusion. Whether or not it happened, they were trying to get him to give up false narrative, false information on Donald Trump. But the QAnon individual seems to imply in his postings that Mueller was flipped even before he was named as the special counsel. And if you recall, Mueller was brought into the office right before Comey was fired. And the mainstream media has said that it was because Donald Trump had offered him the job of heading up the FBI again. However, I have heard that Mueller was not eligible for that job because of some kind of term limitation on FBI leaders, that he couldn't go back and do that job. So the big question is, why was Mueller pulled in to the office, to the Oval Office, and talked to? And the narrative coming from QAnon is very much tied into the United States Marine Corps. And the implication is that the United States Marine Corps and military intelligence associated with the Marines, and you guys know how I feel about the Marine Corps, Semper Fi, hoorah, but that they had uncovered deep corruption, because the military intelligence have the same access to the same listening devices that Edward Snowden warned us, that there's this system of spying on Americans, and apparently the military intelligence have the same access to this. So they became aware that Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and the Podesta brothers and Uma Abedin and a handful of other individuals, maybe even John McCain, were completely on the take, and that they were basically available to the highest bidder, that you could get whatever you wanted if you paid them enough money, and it was all being filtered through these private foundations like the Clinton Foundation. And the Clinton Foundation is also tied into the whole Pizzagate, Pedogate conspiracy. Now, so Paul Manafort, we do know, this is a fact, Paul Manafort was arrested. He was charged with conspiracy against the United States in an indictment. He was indicted for conspiracy to launder money, unregistered agent of a foreign principal, false and misleading FARA statements, false statements, failure to file reports of foreign bank and financial accounts. And what this is about is the Ukraine. So there was a soft coup in the Ukraine, and essentially Russia took over the Ukraine in a political takeover, accompanied by a little bit of fighting that occurred from Russian soldiers that Russia claims were not Russian soldiers at all, but Ukrainian citizens. But some men in black with assault weapons, basically took that country over, and now it is ran by a pro-Russia president, and that Manafort was lobbying on behalf of this shadow Russian government in the Ukraine, and that he did not disclose his involvement with these foreign agencies, nor did he report the income in excess of $1 million that he received for his work. This is another fact. The other fact is he was working in concert with Tony Podesta, a liberal lobbyist and close confidant of Hillary Clinton, and that Podesta is also guilty of exactly the same things that Manafort did. Now, Podesta filed the proper forms that Manafort didn't file, but he didn't do it until Manafort was under investigation and he saw the writing on the wall. So still technically he's in violation of the exact same things that Paul Manafort were in violation of. So back to the meeting with Mueller in the Oval Office right before Comey was fired. So at this point, the conspiracy theory and the conjecture, and this is what Anon is alluding to, is that the United States Marine Corps military intelligence was present at this meeting with Mueller. And Mueller, once a Marine, always a Marine. Robert Mueller was a Marine. And when confronted by fellow Marines and told that there was a treasonous plot inside a corrupt government, he agreed then to go to work for Donald Trump to ferret out these individuals. And Paul Manafort was necessary to get to the Podesta brothers and then to Hillary Clinton and Uma Abedin. So, It goes like this. Mueller was flipped. Mueller went in not looking for information on Trump because it doesn't exist, but rather using this as a cover to go ahead and get to the real collusion that was occurring between the Russian government and the Hillary Clinton campaign and Barack Obama's White House and Justice Department. And that the big news is that Manafort is purportedly, once arrested, instead of flipping on Trump, he flipped on the Podesta brothers because they're guilty of the same things and they worked on these things together. The story is now, and we know this part is fact, 12 sealed indictments were delivered to the Washington, D.C. Court. The same court that Manafort is, no, I'm sorry, not Manafort, but Mueller is releasing his sealed indictments. So these 12 sealed indictments, they could be drug related and some other thing that has nothing to do with this, or this could be part of the Mueller investigation. Rumored in these indictments is that there's an indictment for John and Tony Podesta, Huma Abedin, and Hillary Clinton. That's the big scoop there. Hillary Clinton, that Hillary Clinton has been indicted in a sealed indictment that is not being released. There are rumors, and this is being confirmed by, once again, anonymous sources within the U.S. Marshal Service, that Tony Podesta has in fact been arrested while trying to flee the country. He was arrested at an airport, and that John Podesta, Hillary Clinton, and Huma Abedin have been told to submit and have submitted their passports so they will not be able to leave the country, and that they are going to turn themselves in sometime this week. So you can see why this was a big conspiracy theory. I don't know whether I believe it or not, but if it is true, it is going to be the center of some serious headline news. So once again, hope you enjoyed your coffee talk. We're about to find out whether QAnon is completely full of crap and to see whether these people that are supposed to be arrested are going to continue walking the streets. Now, just on some side notes, there are some conspiracy theorists that are tying this all together with the purge of the Saudi Arabian government. Apparently, the individuals in the Saudi Arabian government that were arrested, some of them killed, and this is also very interesting what's going on in Saudi Arabia, and I should do my own video on just that topic. But there was a ballistic missile fired at Riyadh, and it was shot, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and it was shot down by anti-missile missiles, causing all the airplanes to be grounded, which gave the Saudi government the opportunity to arrest all of their political opponents within the government who seemed to be dirty and tied to payoffs to the Hillary Clinton Foundation, as well as pro-Iranian activities. So this is all one big conspiracy theory. And one of these individuals that was arrested, apparently, this is believed to be true, was a major stockholder in the Mandalay Bay casinos. And that all of this is also tied to the shooting in Las Vegas, and why the shooting in Las Vegas has been covered up is so it doesn't impede this greater investigation into all of this. That's all related, all tied together. It's all tied together with the communist overthrow of the country, and it's such an interesting knot. And I encourage you to grab an end of this knot and start pulling and see what you find out. But once again, we'll find out if QAnon is full of crap or not, whether or not Tony is in fact arrested, Tony Podesta, and whether John Podesta, Hillary Clinton, and Huma Abedin have been indicted as well. So we'll just park it and see, sip a little coffee, and wait for it all to filter out. Once again, it's not my theory. I'm just reporting on a theory that's out there. All right. God save the Republic.